you're going to do that, then you are going to have to, as we come into the second game, make some of those picks actually happen. You drafted Shinsao, you drafted Maokai, and the combos never really played out. Part of it, I know, was your criticism of things like objective setups. They weren't particularly clean. They weren't as coordinated as they're liking. Hoya on that Renekton really struggled to have any real value in that game. Shanji on the Rumble, handling well enough in lane. Hoya did less damage than his Maokai support. Not even 3,500. It's not what you want to see. No, it wasn't the biggest factor ever, but it's still a problem. Smolder first pick from Thunder Talk. They've decided enough of trying to cook. They're going to pick it themselves. What do NIP have as a response? They're going to lock in the Nautilus into it and try and just have ways to hardy.
So Draw is picking up the Nautilus again. I didn't really like how he played early game yesterday though. And that is going to be, no, yesterday? Last game. It's not quite that long ago. It seems so long ago already.
So far
they need to really be locking in stuff that can reach that Smolder and hopefully start to snowball this early game in a way that TT couldn't do against NIP with Smolder last game. Of course, last game as well, TT left their AD carry pick a lot longer, but with the Tristana, that is a flex between the mid and bot lane, but we have seen it be very dominant in early lanes, and if you do give Tristana a free push, which you are going to as a Smolder, there's a chance that it just gets a bomb on the turret and you just get shredded across the map.
I will also say, as unlikely as it is, we have seen hints of Tristana top again. I know Zaya's pulled it out unsuccessfully against Gen G, and Shanji is the kind of player that I know has enough weird stuff and unusual stuff in his wheelhouse that maybe, just maybe, it's even the three-way flex. So just worth keeping that as a kind of additional potential thought. The Hui's locked in again for Yukal, who did very well on that champion again. That wasn't the issue, I think, in the last game. Debating a Braum here as well to put the door and keep those two carries safe. Thunder Talk have got their backline. They've got a Guardian to try and keep them alive. Composition so far shaping up for that.
So what are you going to lock in here? Are you going to lock in something like that Rumble again? Do you feel like you can blind pick that? I don't know about that one. Or do you just go towards something like that Vi and say, even though you're against the Braum, you need some way to just get past that shield. Braum can't block a Vial. That's one of the biggest things about them. And there's no time catch on the table either. I'm not going to go towards that all the same, it looks like. Instead, one of the other big answers that we've seen to the Smolder, which is not in the lane, is Taliyah. Because Taliyah gets to shove and gets to roam down to bot lane with the ultimate very early into the game and flip things. So now imagine this. You're going forward with the Tristana and Nautilus, and then the Taliyah flies in as well. It is very hard for 1xN and Chocho now to survive under turret in the same way that Photic and Draw did in that last game. It wouldn't surprise me now to see you know, some bans from TT from something like the Vi and other things which can start fights early from the jungle. Problem here from TT is that they've already locked in this way, so they can't even lock in something that can punish the Taliyah and or out-roam in the same way. Something like that Ahri, which they banned, would have been good to answer that Taliyah. You see that TT, at least they're trying to remove answers from the jungle, but the mid lane I think is going to be a big problem for them.
Well be. I heard the reasoning there at the very least. It makes sense. We'll see how it actually plays out in game, of course, because Yukal and Rookie, both very competent players. I think that's fair to say. It's a little understatement, frankly, when it comes to the likes of Rookie. And Yukal, obviously, as you're saying, has got a bit of a pedigree to himself. The Poppy ban as well. It does feel like a lot of jungle focus has been the option. Vi away from Taliyah makes a lot of sense. Maybe something like the Xin Sao might not be an awful ban. The only thing is here, we are actually going down the list a little bit of what junglers people want to be running with, just in general. Maybe something like the Rel ends up going up for higher price. I still think that's release in, I suppose, as well. I think being the final.
When you've got picks which want to start fights early and roam towards bot lane, that's largely what you're looking for. Something like a Graves will also not be awful in regards to just kind of like scaling up to one item with a level 6. I think Baytron can maybe go towards that and just say that, look, if I get lethality, that'll be fine. But then you're really just saying, okay, I'm just hoping that I don't get out-roamed early in terms of out-valued by something like a Lee Sim. Oh, and the Xin Sao's made it through as well. Okay, so that's source. Yeah, there we go. So that one's going to be locked in for Aki. So that's the strongest 3v3 bot side jungler being locked in remaining. Baytron has that taken away from him. What's he got left in the pocket?
Baiting the middle right now, but it is just the hover, so we'll wait a second or two before they decide whether that's something that's actually genuinely being considered. Instead, it is the Renekton blind. Debating now the jungle options. There's some very exciting things hovering on screen, but they go back towards a tried and true option in the lead.
And I will say, as much as, I do like seeing off meta, the AP junglers and this fun stuff, I don't often get tired of watching Chinese Lee Sin. No. Like, this, like, LPL Lee Sin is just something, it's just on another level, man. I really like seeing his champion around, and it can potentially help in the bot side 3v3. And this is an interesting conversation about Lee Sin, because in the past, we used to see Lee Sin with Lee Sin LeBlanc, Lee Sin Ahri, Lee Sin with different champions that could kill you in mid lane. Now, actually, I think that Lee Sin is best at going towards bot lane at level 3, and if you've been dived, your safeguard at level 1 is enough HP to turn things around, and you can then get the big turnaround, execute kill with your Q as well. So we'll see if Bechuan can get ahead of Aki in that regard. Aki's early game last time was a little bit lacking. He was kind of going alone. Can't afford to do that again, especially against the Smolder. They need to be hitting this Dragon hard.
For TT, they've got a very defensive comp. Not a lot of ways to proactively go forward. The Braum, obviously much more of a defensive option. Lee Sin or Renekton, their pick is a little more conditional. Of course, you can make it happen. Of course you can. It's Lee Sin. Your ability to find some of those.
He can make anything happen.
Well, to an extent, there is that option. It's one of the things that I believe.
Do you think that Lee Sin is the Willy Wonka of League of Legends? He can make
is
anything
it a Glasgow
happen.
Version?
Oh, is this about the Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is he the unknown? Does he come out from behind a mirror with a little mask on?
Was that the little creepy dude?
He just came out and like maybe that's Lee Sin's model being a little old. And,
this is a bit of a deep cut, but anyway, I was trying to go with like, wow, Lee Sin can make anything happen. It got a little bit dark a little bit quickly.
So you're powered by pure imagination and the skill of your hands. So I remember this being a statement that Peter Dunn said when something like this. Lee Sin, people assume he falls off, and actually what it actually is he just scales with player skill. So if you are a really good Lee Sin player, the game getting later does not nerf your champion because you just have so many more angles of attack because you can do so many things.
See right now, Hoya potentially starting E to cross this wall. No, he's not. There was a chance that he could have been caught out.
Swapping?
No. So this is what you often do at level 1 to hang on. Well, how long are we staying here?
That's what I'm kind of
No. We're not gonna. Surely we're not gonna see an early lane swap. So the thing is here is that okay,
They've
right,
got
okay.
Tristana.
You know,
Maybe
folks,
they can do it.
Okay, I think we're seeing a lane swap. They've stayed too long in topside. So this is where shit gets really, really weird. There is a reason we don't see lane swaps very often. If you watched League of Legends back in 2015, this happened every game. Now, as we see that Shanji's heading bot side, this is the first lane swap I've seen this year. One of the big things which happened in beyond 2015 was that we saw top lane turret get more tanky than bot side, and that means that it's harder to then take the turret very early on. Tristana kills turret so damn quickly, it doesn't matter. This is going to start with a topside invade, and it will be zoning Hoya off of XP from the wave as well, so Aki's going to be left alone up here. See that Bechuan has started on early Raptors. Hoya does start E. This is a huge issue now. So he has no flash, he started E, he cannot stand under turret. Now, if NIP can start up a slow crash dive on topside, Hoya is 100% dead. What Photic should do is not start explosive charge on Tristana, because if you start that, you kill minions too quickly, because when you kill a minion, the splash damage goes across the rest of it. So he should have started another kind of skill, and he's just going to slowly build up this wave. Hoya has no ability to contest this wave. He's just going to soak some XP, and you can see that Chocho has now had to respond by recalling and going topside. Hook misses there at level 1 from draw. That would have been very important, but with Chocho going towards topside now, TT should have actually managed to survive this early dive, because he has a good Guardian and a heal to bring to the table.
Yeah, that should be enough to keep him alive. Yes, you've got a fair amount of early damage between the Nautilus, the Tristana, the Shinta all popping their combos, but I think anything more is going to be risky, and it'll just end up being the Australia lanes of sorts.
So, there was a couple of mistakes here from NIP in this lane swap. You have to stop Chocho from getting underneath that turret. Now you have the Braum under the turret with his passive and the Q and everything. It's very, very dangerous to dive that now. So honestly, NIP, mission failed from what you should get from a lane swap. And also importantly here, Smolder has gotten completely free farm towards this bot side. The winner here is maybe Shanji, because of course he's going to get himself a little bit more access to farm and XP very early on. But given that we used to see so many lane swaps and we haven't seen them for a while, you can understand that there are some holes in the strategy, but NIP, they've not been very precise with this.
Aki doesn't have the red buff actually, and Bechuan is here, so this could end up being a bit of a contest, but honestly with Rookie shoved up further, it should still end up being a little bit too risky for Base 1 to go for that 1v1.
So that draw, this is another thing. Once you get these lane swaps, your support's going to end up all around the map. Now, draw couldn't get that many plays forced early last time. Flash out.
And flashing for the staggering blows afterwards. It didn't work topside, it does work mid. Fantastic play.
Again, folks, this off-season, I went back and watched a lot of the old World Championships, and in particular, Season 5 was when lane swaps were all the rage, and you had to be very, very careful in mid lane, in lane swaps, weirdly. Everyone on the side lanes knew what was happening, but in mid lane, you didn't really know what the hell was going to happen, because someone from jungle or support could show up in your lane, and Yucal, he kind of just misses the memo a little bit that he could be under threat as well, because you think it's all about top lane and bot lane, because you've got uneven numbers. It's actually Yucal that goes down first, and NIP claim first blood. So NIP, very different strategy for them. We haven't seen it really worldwide this year so far. They're getting something from it at least, and now they've got themselves about 1,000 gold lead.
See the replay as sure comes down here at that level 2 mark. Rookie is around as well. That flash from Yucal was clutch. It meant that the hook didn't land, but it sets him up for a seismic shove, and there's just nothing he can do left.
Yeah, you dodge the hook in the wrong direction, really, so he ends up getting himself into even more danger beyond that point. So, NIP, they have themselves CS advantage for Tristana, who is now going back into the 2v2 versus 1xN and Shocho. You see that Shanji has, you know, basically even CS with Hoya on the other side. So NIP, I don't think they've ended up getting the maximum out of this lane swap again. We used to see an awful lot of these, and there's a reason why we don't see them so much, but even then, it's very hard to pull these off. Typically, you only see these lane swaps when you have something like a Scion, because what Scion can do is take first level jungle camp, use his passive to then clear another jungle camp as he dies to it, and then go teleport under turret with a level advantage and a red buff to keep himself into a really strong position. You can just never deal with the Scion on the weak side of the map. It's not really the case here. Shanji didn't really have that same ability to do anything there. So TT, honestly, well responded by TT for Chocho to, you know, recall very quickly and get towards it. I think he's showing a little bit of his veterancy there and his heads-up awareness. And we've got ourselves a bit of a trade of objectives. One grub taken for the dragon on the bot side.
Plans, but this is a Braum. Braum is one of the better answers into the Nautilus, because Nautilus brings himself willingly into the cold, cold embrace of those winter's bites and concussive blows. So, be a little bit careful if you're going in as Jaw, because you can just end up being frozen in place if you go too deep.
And now the game kind of slows down as, you know, last game, it was very slow. It took us a long time to get a decent amount of action. And again, IP in this game, they wanted to speed up a little bit more. Concussive blows. Arc land on the road there. Aki, I don't think he's going to get himself level 6 off of this one. But he will, however, himself get himself Camp Steel. And Rookie will have level 6 to round down. This is why Talia is an answer to Smolder. Can very much threaten you under turret.
Jojo's just level 3. They land onto 1xN. The double seismic shove. The rocket jump afterwards. 1xN cannot get far enough away. The explosive charge is there. Heal not enough. Double kill bot. NIP much cleaner in this early game.
That's going to be a couple of waves taken away from 1xN. He can ghost back to lane to save himself some CS, but seriously, this is a much better early game than last time for NIP and TT. I think their initial response to the lane swap was very good. This time, though, you just let Rookie get off the map, and it feels like Yucal has not had much impact in this game. After that early gank, he's not really been able to walk up and put himself into the best position. Rookie chooses not to use his ultimate. He's still on Fog of War as he casts that, which makes it even more powerful. Shocho, 1xN, not expecting that one coming at all. And NIP, strong early start to get something ahead of this Smolder.
Of course, you've now got 2 kills on the Talia, and then you got a kill on the Tristana as well. Both of these characters do have ways to consistently threaten the Smolder even later on into the game just because of your target access. And actually, on the other side, later this game goes, was the range increase with the Draw Bead passive from Tristana. Your access to the Tristana as Thunder Talk is not that great.
And there's not a great way to stop Tristana doing damage. You know, you can, in terms of actually... There are 2 ways about this, right? You can either deal damage to the Tristana, or you can stop the Tristana dealing damage. That's the 2 ways you make it not about him. You can either kill her or stop it killing you. In this game, you don't have a great way to deal either. You talked about you don't have the target access onto the Tristana. How do you stop her from wailing on your front line as well? Well, with great difficulty. It feels like Yucal would be the person you'd ask with the big CC and the big AoE damage. When he's very far behind and potentially getting punished without having flash again, Rookie's ulting in. Yucal, he's in a really bad spot.
Oh, man. And it's just, the moment his flash was blown early, every combo is guaranteed to land. And Aki on the board again. 2-0-2 for Rookie. And Rookie looking like the champion self he can be. Upon a time, the greatest mid laner in the world. Still has a little bit of that greatness in him, even if this year has been a little quieter. than perhaps he has been in his very, very best.
No, last year wasn't the best for him. Draw lands another hook, gonna get stunned up again, potentially. This is actually a mistake here from Draw, by the way. If you are playing Nautilus into Braum, you don't max your Q, you max your E, because if you throw the hook, Braum ends up using this shield on you, and it just negates the damage anyway. What you do is you use the E, and you use that to poke him through the wave sometimes, which is something that Nautilus can do quite uniquely as a melee support, but you can also use it to then damage a lot more in base combat. Instead, he is maxing out that Q anyway. Maybe just looking to see, look, I don't care about the laning phase right now. Tristana will carry the damage, and I'll get lower cooldown on my hooks all the same.
Give me more hooks, exactly. Yes. And there's some justification to that, actually, especially when you are asked to be the primary engage. Like, I just want to have this available when it comes to the fights later on. Beishwan is in this bot lane by the tower, looking to see whether something can happen, but it really is just a defensive bit of shielding. He'll be spotted recalling by the melee minions now.
Yeah, and that's a problem, because any information on Beitron is very, very valuable to NIP. Hoya's crashing into his topside, but they just saw Lee Sin on bot side. They know there's no jungler on topside. He got shunted through the wall, and Hoya is going to be skinned.
Oh, there's nothing left to be done. We'll flash to go all out, and there's just nowhere to go because there's a Nautilus over the wall already. Summoner burned, another death, and Shanji does what he needs to do, delivering unto the waiting arms of his teammates a crocodile for the table.
You gotta feel for TT. It feels like they're not really communicating in the right ways. Draw heading into the enemy jungle now, going to spot out Beitron again. The last play started with Beitron getting spotted in bot side as he recalled. And that Hoya, as he crashed in that topside wave, was absolutely not safe. So NIP 5-0 on the scoreline. A much better early game for them. They needed it to be good because they're against that Smolder in the way. Two very high damage champions coming into late game, but they managed to get themselves onto a really good set of gold leads now for a lot of different members.
Grub spawning in about 3 seconds, so very close indeed. The first set did go over towards Thundertalk. They want to try and make it all 6. How easily NIP want to give that over, though, because it looks like they're coming over in force.
So, Photic, he has himself his ultimate as well, of course. Let's look out for that flash away. Chocho not able to flash for that shield anymore. So, TT will get themselves one of this next spawn, but that will be it. No 5-6 grub mark.
No, they do have to back away. It does give Smolder a little bit of freedom towards this bot side, necessary considering some of the early pressure that's gone on down, but it's kind of the end of that. 1xN gets a wave shoved in, managed to even out some of the CS discrepancy that had been building down there. That really is all there is to write home about, with the exception of Chocho's flash being burned as a kind of additional prize for NIP.
Dragon spawning just now, so NIP, they will get themselves back onto the map and they can potentially claim themselves another set of objectives for themselves. First items coming in across the board as well. Nothing really to write home about in terms of anything different. Kraken Slayer, though, from Photic means that just the single target damage from Tristana right now is absolutely absurd. And it really feels like you need that 3 items onto the Smolder to really contest in terms of damage. It's going to take a long time for them to be able to contest in terms of the AD carry damage output, especially in a game like this, which we've already said, there's not really a world in which you see Photic being stopped from doing damage. Going to head over towards this dragon now, and TT are going to have to start scratching their heads and say, how do we buy ourselves time and space to do this?
Cal
flashes away again. Rookie once again comboing up. You can see how different it is from last game, where you can see that Aki and Drow couldn't really link up that well. In this game, Rookie is linking up with his jungler and support very, very well. Feels like Rookie is the person who is combining these pieces.
I think also they're coming to Rookie. That's multiple times we've seen the attacks at Yukal, at the mid lane, and you were saying actually it does feel like the way of the meta for the last couple of years has largely been to take the mid laner out of mid lane and turn up with the jungler somewhere else, largely bot lane, to facilitate plays down there. A hook onto Rookie might be nice, but instead flashed over the wall as the Q landed from Lee Sin. So we'll get the additional summon. Rookie very fast to pull that trigger to get out of danger.
Well, he knows he could have potentially got flash kicked, and that would have been a very dangerous scenario, so he ends up surviving. He's very close to getting himself his Seraphs too. Next time that play comes through, it's going to be much harder to kill that Talia. We don't really have any power plays coming in from NIP right now, but what we do have is a lot of vision for them. Look at the vision in the bot side jungle.
Yeah.
Beitron hasn't been able to get much done in early game. Partly that's because his team has not been able to control any sort of vision in his jungle. That vision allows Rookie to come down towards bot lane. Even though he doesn't have himself an ultimate, he doesn't need it. It's the same play again.
There's just nowhere to go. A kill onto Photic. This combo has been so good. Who needs a jungler when you have a Rookie on Talia? clear.
Exactly. Rookie, you know, funnily enough, back in the days of Invictus Gaming when they won their World Championship with Rookie as their mid lane, even back then, Rookie was the jungler for that team. And now that's going to sound strange. You think, but Alex, but Nymaera, wasn't he a mid laner? Yes, but he did the job of jungler all the same. He's just popped himself Ghost there as well. Fodic doesn't have Buster Shot. Fodic, did you just die for plates?
I think he might have done. The explosive shot on top of him makes things quite difficult. There's nowhere to go. He knows what's going on. 1xN should just have this, gets the kill, and 1xN goes, thank you very much on the top side though. Because of that, it means that NIP can get some kills onto Hoya. So it'll end up being a 1-for-1, all things said and done. Hang on, there's someone in the bush there.
Yeah, there's still one, but they've spotted them. But I mean, there's no AD carries here. Rookie is the only big damage. He is going to absolutely slaughter this fight if they let him do it.
They'll try and get something back. They throw down the Molten Fish. They're trying to dissuade something more. Can still look for a little bit of extra damage as the Spiraling Despair comes on through. TT do manage to extricate themselves after I thought Beichuan and Chocho might be in more danger, but they do get out of dodge.
And we kind of end things off and say, okay, technically it's a cross map from TT because they make the play bot side and then something happens to opposite. It's not really like that. Okay, so it is Kashanji once again. He gets himself to pull through the wall, so Hoya is not even allowed the safety of his own turret. Brought into the rest of his team. That is so sad for them. Beitron and Chocho, they're kind of left in the lurch after that point too.
Look, we knew he was a shonen hero. He gets in robots, he starts punching things. He just gets to go all out just this once, Master, and begins to break people. That's just the second time he's played this game. So maybe he's decided he gets to power up more regularly.
Maybe. Of course, we miss Akira Toriyama as well in terms of the father of shonen. Really, it's been a strange week. I'm wearing my Dragon Ball hoodie today as well. I know that we talk about the game a lot, but I just want to throw that out as well. You know, I grew up a lot watching those cartoons. Well, for us they were cartoons, and of course I got introduced into anime a little bit beyond that too as well. But still, it's nice to pay homage to the true greats as well. Start focusing a little bit back more on the game.
Exactly. We'll see what that happens. Maybe we get a Super Saiyan skin for Cassandra at some point. I'd be down for that. He goes all out, his hair goes golden. Good. I'm just saying.
Can you imagine that for sets as
I know.
well?
I think well, he kind of does already.
Yeah, he does. And the Soul Fighter skin is awesome, by the way. I love that.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like obviously Soul Fighter definitely takes a lot of elements from things like JoJo, right? And that kind of thing just works with things like Cassandra as well. You kind of got those really extreme, ridiculous, over-the-top kind of fight sequences.
So we've got shonen protagonists. We have, you know, Shanji in his robots, and then he's going towards his fighter champions as well. We've got all of this, and of course we got the ninjas here too. It's just it's all setting up for the true like dramatic finish of great shonen proportions.
Who is Shinji's dad? Shanji's dad? The guy with the fingers.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. It's been about 10 years since I watched Ava, so I can't remember.
I call him Goro Akechi, but that's the guy from Persona 5.
Buddy, I'm gonna have to Google that.
Someone might know. But like, I could just imagine Rookie just standing over Shanji's shoulder, like, get in the robot, Shanji. We've got a fight happening out. Chocho might be in a spot of bother. We'll throw down the glacial fissure. Will not be melted out quite yet. Global warming, kind of not enough to bring down the Braum quite yet.
Not quite yet. So Chocho, it's been a bit of a difficult game for Chocho. What are we doing here, folks?
It's gone the wrong direction!
Okay.
I'm not sure they finished. I'm not sure that was Rookie. The Herald spawned in a weird direction.
And that is why you need Shanji to get in the robot instead. Because actually, Rookie can't drive. Either way, Herald is going to get a little bit of damage onto this bit as Rookie just clicks it in the wrong direction, and NIP miss out on the Herald. It's going to slow down things a little bit. It's a little bit annoying because they would love to break open that mid lane turret and start making some more power plays into the enemy jungle. Still, they're going to get themselves towards Dragon. Hoya is trying to clear out this wave, gets hooked anyway. Here comes Rookie.
As well. I don't think there's a way over this wall particularly easily. Shoved back as well, and the seismic activity continues to prove problematic. Rookie gets involved with his 6th kill of the game. Towards the top side, teleport comes on through. He's left a little alone up here.
He is. Rookie would have teleport as well, and it's just really hard to deal damage to a Cassandra under turret, especially now that he's got 1.5 items. So NIP, despite the Herald flub, will be able to get themselves ahead on the map player as well. It's a dragon, it's a kill. They don't get to, they don't lose their turret on the top side either because they use a teleport there. And NIP, they've not had to play the game much faster than this. They're getting value out of everything. You can see that they have gold leads pretty much everywhere. They have shutdowns on top, mid, and jungle. As TT, you know, this is a game which is so important for them. They can't really afford to lose this. They're on only 4 wins and they're on, you know, 7 losses themselves. If they were to lose this series, you'd have to imagine that's playoffs gone for them as well. It's getting pretty close to it. And Hoya having 2 bad games back-to-back is really not helping their claim.
No, and this time, the soul point is there for NIP compared to against the Smolder, which we saw last game as well. The difference is, it's also with a gold. So you're going to come into this new and have Hex Soul, plus the ability to get on the Smolder, plus the fact that you are up in gold. Dangerous position.
And now we have ourselves Rookie roaming around the map with 2 items, first person to reach that in the game, and you get a little bit of HP from Leandries, which is nice when you want that brawling potential, and then you also have the Seraph's Shield. I think Rookie has a position to go very, very aggressive now in the next few minutes with the extra HP and shielding. Not overly so, again, you don't want to give over that shutdown and just the kill in general, but still, you have to see that through. You see the Smolder. Ult comes through, Mum comes out to clear the wave and try and save this turret.
Mum's clearing up after the kids. I think we've heard that one before as Jaw gets hit with a spiraling despair. Doesn't matter all that much. Does some damage on the other side though. Beige1 down to about a third HP.
It's because the combo hit him from Rookie. The 2-item Talia is absolutely disgusting in terms of damage right now. As you see another combo coming through. Rookie on this Talia has been such a massive force for NIP in this split. It hasn't always led to their wins, but he has been such a big factor. That ult is going to zone off TT. They don't have themselves another ult for this wave. This will be another bomb on tower, and that's going to be finally mid lane turret claimed.
Taken out. They siege it for a little while, and NIP managed to brute force their way through it. Nothing really Thunder Talk have to say about it. Beige1 gone towards the Eclipse on the Lee Sin early, wants to have that assassination potentially. He's one of the few people who can get onto the scary members of the back. So I'm just looking at the gold, I'm looking at the ability to get out of dodge, and I'm not sure it's going to be enough, but I see the thought process at least.
Shanji is currently alone in the spot side, but he's just tanky as all heck at this point, and is also, you know, a 3-death, 2-level down Renekton. Hoya, you know, I did say that he was quite comfortable on this champion last year, and he played a lot of it. You couldn't really tell from this game. I think that Hoya has been very weak side. He's not really, and of course in this game, he was even lane swapped on it. Yeah. We haven't seen that this year, and it can be quite hard to survive that. He survived that part of it. It's what came after that point, which is a problem. 1XM, his pack cashed in his cull. He's gone to 2 items. This is where you can start taking over with stacks. Now I think TT, you know, it's the year of the dragon. It looks like they're trying to pray towards bot lane dragon as well, and just hope that somehow, someway, 1XM can come online.
He's being fed so many camps to try and get in there. We have not seen the stacks in a little while, so when it next pops up on screen, I'll try and get a little note on that one. Should surely be pulled up at some point, you feel, but the execute not quite in yet. You've got about a minute and a half until Soul for NIP if it was to be secured, so you almost have to fight then.
When you've not been interrupted too much, you expect Smolder stacks to be around 22, well, no, more like 23 minutes. 23 minutes is really when you see it. If you're fast and you can get down to like 22 and 22, and the fastest seen in pro play is somehow 19 minutes.
That's nuts,
which is absolutely insane. But we I think it was somewhere in NACL. I'm trying to remember if it was also somewhere in one of the first major region games as well. I think LCK had a very quick one at some point. But now with Vision Control denied and Tristana on Dragon and Baron, Tristana is a good Baron taker. Rookie trying to just hold the door shut. Teleports coming in, double teleports from TT.
That's a huge win already. NIP lands a little bit of a play onto Chocho, but that teleport in the mid lane from Shanji is a little bit bold, but he is in a Cassante, just goes all out, drags 1XN away, who does manage to flap, does get knocked up by the depth charge though, cannot fly far enough away, no Mum there to save him, it's a dead dragon, St. George in the mid lane lances him down, and they'll get all the kills they could ask for, and they get to back away to Baron 2.
Thunder Talk. So, you know, lightning, they say it doesn't strike twice. Doesn't look like it's going to strike once in this series. The ninjas, they were off vision. They were unseen. It was the ninjas' home territory, and they're going to get themselves a Baron off of this hard-earned play. They have controlled this game from start to finish. TT, they've never really had a leg to stand on. And it feels like with this Baron going over, with the Dragon going potentially over after that point too, if they can reset after it, TT, this might just be playoffs slipping away from them as NIP clutch this victory. Rookie doesn't have the combo to immediately combo up onto Chocho after Joy lands the hook. I think Joy's had a much better game, and Shanji's had a good game too. He comes in with a great teleport. His teleport outvalues both of the teleports coming in from TT. One summoner for the 2, really not even in that sense. And as soon as you lose that Smolder, what do you do?
Shanji teleported with Q3 available as well, so he teleports in, immediately closes Q3's poor old 1XN, who does his very left best to get out of dodge, but the depth charge knocks up Chocho before he can use his stand behind me to get in front of the Smolder. There's just nowhere to go.
Yeah. Did you know that the heart is not the strongest muscle?
Tongue, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure the tongue is the strongest muscle. Yeah.
Considering how silver-tongued I am, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and you know, normally you'd say that'd be a good thing for Thunder Talk, but they can Thunder Talk the talk, but they haven't been able to Thunder walk the walk in this one. And sadly for them, it looks like with Hex Soul going over the other side, it is a very, very rough spot for them. The only play they have left is hoping for a miracle kick onto one of the big carries and hope that that's enough. Even then, I think you're giving a trade kill over nonetheless. NIP using the rest of this Baron buff now to really just dig the nails in.
We want to make this as devastating as possible. Hoya will claim a trade on the top side, but that is a very slight consolation prize. Oh, Seismic shoved over the wall. Base One does get to safeguard back to safety, but look who's here. It's Shanji, who has to be kicked away. Has Base One found a valuable kick this game? I just don't think so.
Oh my gosh, and Bertrand wishes he'd learned instant transmission to get away from that one. Sadly, he's only got himself a flash and a kick in that one as well. He keeps himself the flash, but without that kick available, NIP no threat onto them. NIP very, very comfortably walking with the Baron buff, knowing that this game is as good as theirs.
Play it like an instant, but even with a kicker cost, he can't get the value out, and he'll have to...
Was that a Magic the Gathering
Oh, yes,
thing?
it was!
Well, here comes the Magic on the bot side. We've got the shield blocking out the wall coming in. Smolderall coming in to maybe get himself some return damage, but TT, they're throwing out a lot of things just to try and keep their tower alive.
You understand why, you really do. They've only got to hold on 45 more seconds or so, but that is so many ultimates down, all of them. In fact, with the exception, I think, of Yukal's.
Yeah,
and that's all they've got to work with.
And now we've got, these carries haven't built Static Shiv, but they have an inbuilt Static Shiv and the Hextech Soul at this point. Tristana, very, very powerful this one too. It's another shove potentially under turrets.
The damage is just so difficult at this point as well. Photic at level 14, his range is getting pretty exceedingly difficult to manage as well. Yes, you've got the stacks on the Smolder, but I just don't know how valuable and how easy it is to actually put down meaningful damage.
So NIP, they don't manage to crack open a second inhibitor. The Baron buff is going to run off now. They get themselves a decent power play, and they're going to go back, spend their gold, probably get towards 3 items at this point as well, which is a terrifying prospect for TT. And yeah, you can see the Bloodthirster coming through from Photic. He hasn't even gone towards the Lord Dominus regards because there's no one tanky on the other side. There's Renekton, not tanky. The Lee Sin, not tanky. The Braum, who cares about that as well?
Xen has had to avoid the Zeal item, avoid the
rapid fire cannon.
Yeah, he's had to go towards the Lord Dums. And you understand the thought process, like, look, I have got to deal with 3, 4 people going to have more HP than me. Even Rookie with the Leandri's going to have more. I need that value, that ability to try and deal with these tanks because no one else is, that's for sure. But it kind of makes you a little bit riskier to play. Maybe that's the challenge you got to take. You can't play from safety. You can't play from the rapid fire cannon range.
It's just... yeah, you'd love to have the luxury of that fire cannon, and in almost any other game you'd like that, but when you've got just such a nasty front line on the side of... Oh, NIP, as Chocho burst out once again, half HP, he can't stand under the turret, and though NIP couldn't crack the inhibitors, he's going to get himself the last remaining inner turret, even that Smolder ultimate not enough to wave clear that one away. Rookie looking for an opportunistic blind shove. As Hoya, he knows that they have to try and get themselves some objective bounties and get something done, but they might just fall apart across the base without the Renekton here.
11,000 gold and a Hex Soul at 26 minutes. It should be lights out. You've got a Smolder Dream, and in fairness to 1xN, he has got 2.5 items. He has got all the stacks he needs to be the threat that Smolder can become, but it would take a monumental carry from this position as the Weaver's Wall comes on down and Thunder Talk may not be given anything like an opportunity to remain. Chocho puts up the door, stays alive, but now is out of the fight regardless. The Spiraling Despair, though, is pretty good to chunk people back. NIP can't commit to any further.
Again, NIP, they're not actually chunking the inhibitor turrets that much. They've managed to take the mid lane inhibitor, but not able to finish anything else beyond that point. You can see that, there is 3 items now, as you just mentioned, from 1xN, but how much is that realistically going to matter? Can you defend the turrets? Can you kill some goddamn members on the other side?
Can you keep the Smolder alive? That has to be priority 1. It's the only way you realistically have to win these games.
Photic being chunked out, he's going to get himself some Bloodthirster healing where he can potentially. In fact, he's just going to back off all the way. So, Elder Dragon in a minute and a half, Baron up in just half of that time as well. So 2 big objectives coming out on the map. Maybe TT can get themselves to a point where they can fight for one of these. A Baron or an Elder. Maybe it can extend the game a little longer, and they want to slow the game down. They don't really have winning fight scenarios right now, but if they steal an Elder, steal a Baron, they might just elongate the game long enough for this Hui and the Smolder to do some damage. It's a slim hope, particularly with how NIP have very cleanly played out the map, with every time that the Weaver's Wall has come up, but it is something that they didn't have a minute ago.
A Herculean effort, and that feels perhaps quite appropriate considering your hopes and dreams exist in a mythological creature. Start to try and gain some presence here around the mid lane. Elder Dragon in 40 seconds. Thunder Talk. It is your last chance, Saloon. Your backs are against the wall. Do or die.
And they finally go beyond just Thunder Talk and put some meaning to those words behind them. NIP, they're spoiling for a fight. They've got Talir on the side, and here comes the ult.
And Rookie has been so willing to make this happen. 1xN still safe, but not doing that much meaningful damage. Smolder's mother comes in, the ultimate in helicopter parenting, not doing anything to keep the support alive. The jumps begin, the resets, doing so much work as the Crescent Guard denying so much damage. 1xN cannot do meaningful stuff yet. Wait, the execute one begins to come on through. Shanji into the backside. 1xN flashing over the wall, continue to try and run, but the hops keep going. There's just not enough there. A triple kill to Photic and NIP. Make it a 2-0. The Ninjas assassinate Thunder Talk, who have no more words to say in this series.
Oh, it takes some acrobatics from Photic, but all of those jumps are just stomping down on Thunder Talk, who will be given their 8th loss in LPL Spring 2024. This one might just see them out of playoffs, so close enough to it as NIP. This is a big pressure relief for them. They've been waiting for a win for a little while now, and they'll finally get to that 8 mark.
It has been a rough few weeks if you are an NIP fan. They've looked shakier and shakier. It hasn't been what perhaps was expected of them after some of those early wins began to come on through. This Game 2 in particular felt so much cleaner, so much more dominant, so much more disciplined. On the other side for Thunder Talk, that might well be the end of the playoff dream. It's not quite over yet, I don't think, mathematically, but you had to feel this might have been one of their last and best remaining chances.
So you play 16 games in a split. Now, if you get to 8 and 8, you're okay with that. But the thing is, with the remaining schedule from TT, this is now not just an uphill battle. This is a real mountain climb. And, you know, I mean, they still have to play some of the very top teams just left in that. NIP, they also have a pretty hard schedule remaining for them. I believe they still have to play BLG in some of those games as well. Getting themselves to that 8-win mark, that puts them onto a much more comfortable margin, particularly with a lot of other low-win teams hanging around. I mean, I think right now,